Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our webinar. My name is Charlie Taylor. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Security 101. If you're not familiar with Security 101, we have been in business for about 20 years. We're based in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we have over 50 locations throughout the United States. Now, we're not an access control or camera manufacturer. We're a security systems integrator, meaning that we don't make products, we design solutions for our clients. Our clients particularly like this because they know we're not pushing proprietary products on them. They typically come to us with their different security issues, and then we get with our engineering team and our team of manufacturers to develop the right solution for them. We don't work in just one individual vertical market. We work in pretty much every vertical market that you can think of. We have customers that are in the college, university market, and stadiums. We do call centers, corporate headquarters, transportation facilities, and government facilities. Pretty much every vertical market that has employees or security concerns are clients ours that fit our client profile. One vertical market that we've done quite a bit of work with over the years is property management. And for this particular webinar, we have brought in Genea, one of our access control partners, because of the value proposition that they offer for property management that I believe that you will all enjoy. But before I turn it over to Genea, a couple back of the house items I want to make sure everybody understands. I'd like you all to be on the lookout for 2 emails from us over the next week. The first email will be where we announce the lucky winner of our Arctic Cooler. Chances are you've seen that in our advertisements for this webinar. Everybody that participates in this, that is not a Security 101 employee, of course, will have the opportunity to win a Arctic Cooler. So be on the lookout for that email. The second email you're going to see is going to be us asking you for some help. What we would like is to send you some surveys, a survey after this, and ask you a couple of questions to make sure that we hit the mark with this webinar. If there's anything in particular that you took away that you enjoyed, we'd like to know. If there's anything that you didn't enjoy, let us know. But more importantly, we'd also like to hear from you on future topics that you would like us to address in future webinars that our organization offers. So those 2 things are great. I'm going to turn it over to Robert Vail. He's the Vice President of Sales. Robert, you can join the stage now. I would ask everybody that that is on this webinar, if you have questions, on the bottom right-hand section of this, there's the opportunity for you to type in questions, and we will be tallying those questions throughout this presentation. At the end, if we have time, Robert will go through those questions and answer those. And if we run short on time, we will send out an email after this session with all those questions. So without further ado, Robert, you have the floor.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Charlie. Really appreciate you and the Security 101 team welcoming Genea. Really excited to participate with you. As you said, we've got some great things for the commercial real estate industry. So what I'm going to do today is do a brief PowerPoint to give those of you who are not familiar with Genea some background on our business, walk you through what we're going to do, and then I'm actually going to go into our product. And I'm going to show you things that are very specific to the commercial real estate industry and how we handle security. And then I'll go through a live instance of actually the platform and show you how we use things here at Genea for our office. So go through. If at any point, like Charlie said, please feel free to add questions to the Q&A, and we'll get to them towards the end. And if for some reason we can't, we'll definitely do follow-up. So once again, really appreciate this opportunity, Charlie, and looking forward to doing this with you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So everybody just give me 1 second here, and we'll go ahead and get started. Perfect. There it is. Wonderful. So again, I'm here from Genea. I'm Vice President of Sales for our commercial real estate division. And for those of you not familiar with us, I'll just give you a little background on the business. So we're a company based out of Southern California. So we're a software company. We work with some of the largest owners and operators of commercial real estate in the country. So you get a nice list of some of the logos here. So companies like Hines, CBRE, RMR Group. Of the top 25 owners and operators of commercial real estate, we work with 21 of them in some capacity. So it's really, we're a known brand. For those of you in the commercial real estate industry, you definitely know who Genea is. We've been around for a while. I've personally been with the company for 10 years, helping to build our brand across the country. So we have three solutions. So obviously here today, we're talking specifically about access control. But those of you who are familiar with our brand know us from our overtime HVAC solution for high-rise office buildings. If you're a tenant in that site and you need to request overtime HVAC after hours, you use the Genea app. We turn on the building management system, and then we, at the end of the month, we generate tenant invoice statements. And then we also have a sub-meter reading and billing solution for those tenants who have supplemental air conditioning units for server rooms to keep them cool. We actually have a solution that handles the reading and billing of the meters. But obviously today we're here to talk about access control, so that's what we're going to focus on. And of course, just some data, just general data about Genea. We currently support customers in over 300 million square feet of office space. We're reading and billing over 25,000 meters on a monthly basis. We have a 98% customer retention rate. So we're working with customers year over year, and as buildings change hands and property teams change hands, we continue to stay with those properties. And we have a 75 net promoter score. We take that take a lot of pride in that, because not only do our customers like us, but they actually refer us to their colleagues. So it's really important for us that we take care of our customers. So let's start with access control. So when we look at the kind of legacy on-prem systems that are on the marketplace, there's a number of challenges as it relates to commercial real estate in particular. Number one is a lot of the systems that are out there aren't really built for the commercial real estate market. They've essentially been shoehorned in to help support office buildings. And they're great systems, don't get me wrong, but they're really not built for some of the nuances of commercial real estate, such as tenant management. Obviously, you have multiple tenants in a building. They have different use cases, different card formats, as well as you want to keep those databases separate so that you have clean data for your security team. Also, there's a lot of manual processes when it comes to adding and removing users in particular, where, real example, most buildings have a work order system. So whether that be Angus or Building Engines or WorkSpeed, and the typical process to add and remove a user is I'm going to send in a work order. That work order then goes to the property manager. The property manager then gets a form to fill it out of who the tenants are, who their users are. Then they go down to the server down in the basement, get a new key card, and then a couple days later they give that back to the tenant, who then adds it to their tenant system. So there's a lot of steps that go through when it comes to adding and removing users. The other challenge is there's not a great process for removing users upon termination. And that becomes a security risk for a lot of building teams. So and a real example of this is at the building where Genea leases space in Southern California. It's a 300,000 square foot building, and we're the access control provider of record. When we took over the database, the existing old database, there were 4,500 active users in the system. So these are people who could physically get on site. Well, there's only 1,200 people who actually work in the building. And so when we asked the assistant property manager, why do you have all these people who can still get in the building and there's only 1,200 people here? And what we were told is, I only get yelled at if people can't get into the building. Nobody ever tells me if anybody is fired, so we just don't take anybody out of the system. And this is a massive security risk, because now people who shouldn't have been at the building for a number of years, were terminated for a variety of reasons, can technically get into the building after hours when the building is actually closed. So these are just things that we see, and this is one example of the building, but I've seen this all across the country. You also see that the hardware and the software aren't consistent across the portfolio, and as property teams are being asked by their asset managers to report on a global basis for occupancy levels, to understand which tenants are in, what amenities are being used, you don't have a great way of doing this without having to log into every single system that there is. And then lastly is mobile deployment. As we know that one of the future of security is utilizing your phone to get into a facility, and if your system is not built to support mobile credentialing, you're missing out on some great tenant amenities, and these are things that your tenants are asking for. So this is really where we come in. So we're a full enterprise access control system. We're 100% cloud-based, and what we're doing by being a cloud-based solution, we're all open API, open architecture, so we make it really easy to manage things. But one of the biggest things we wanted to do was really make it easy to add and remove users from the system. So user provisioning is a very big deal. And when I get into the platform, I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a user to the system. It's one of the biggest challenges that property managers have. In addition to that, in our cloud platform, we give you really one single pane of glass to review all access control events. We have integrations with a lot of different video management solutions. So regardless of what you have on site, to be able to sync up that instance of a card swipe and see that event on video, we can do that. We have an integrated visitor management solution that integrates directly with the access control product to allow visitors to come on site, to pre-register, to go through a turnstile, through an elevator, and all the way up to the floor. And then we provide that with 24/7 software support. So our friends here at Security 101 are going to take care of everything in terms of getting you on site, getting everything installed, coming on site whenever there's an issue. With the part that we help with is software support. So if you need to know how to change a schedule on the software platform, we have a help center to help you navigate that. And of course, we share all the tickets directly with our partners at Security 101 so that they have full knowledge of what's happening at the site. But it's real true partnership. But from a software perspective, we wanted to really give you that the ability to communicate with us as the software manufacturer. All of our application is built on non-proprietary hardware. So like Charlie said, Security 101 doesn't have anything that's proprietary. We go along that same realm. So we put the onus on us as a software provider to do a really good job utilizing some of the hardware that you have in place already. Because the last thing you want to do is when you change an access control system is have to take out everything that you've already spent capital on. So whether it be readers or controllers, we're trying to work with as much as we can already in site to make it less burdensome for you to change over. And of course, you can remotely manage physical security from anywhere. So I'll see here, I'm working from home. I have the ability to manage our entire database from anywhere, from either my laptop or from my phone. So it's really kind of the future in terms of how you manage physical security. A couple things we want to do is we want to make reporting very, very simple. I get asked every single day from property managers, how can you help me report on tenants who are actually engaged in the building, who are coming on site? I need to send a weekly report to our asset managers. We wanted to make that very, very streamlined and simple. So we have the ability to send manual reports, but we can also do automated reporting where you can email on a weekly basis to your asset managers, to the property teams, who's physically coming on site. You can receive alerts for security events, and then we can assign users at a portfolio level as you look at multiple sites to be able to share common amenity spaces. So gyms, entertainment areas, conference centers. One of the big things that you're seeing in there is property owners who own multiple portfolios. You have tenants that go across multiple sites. And so you want to be able to give them the ability to utilize their key card to get in anywhere. And we can help with that. These are all things you can do with a cloud-based solution. We're also going to make it really easy for your tenants to manage their own database. So one of the unique things about the platform is all the tenant data is bifurcated, and we open up tenant portals. So the tenants have the ability to come in and add and remove their own users to the base building system. There's an approval process, so we're not leaving them a jailbreak. In addition to that, they can also do their own reporting. So tenants are going to ask regularly, how many of my employees are coming into the building? And if you're going through the parking deck or base building, they can simply run a report themselves and see who's physically coming on site. And that's always separate from the suite. The suite is their own system. They can control that, but we give them some visibility. In addition to that, we open up some integrations to them to allow them to automate the process of adding and removing users. And why that's important, because it helps keep your database clean. So that example I gave earlier, 4,500 users in a system and a whole bunch who shouldn't be in there, that all goes away when you put the onus on the tenants to manage their employees who should have access to the system. And I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. Elevator access is another item that we get asked about regularly. So yes, we can support all your elevators. So all your relay elevators, that's out of the box. That's very easy to do. And for those buildings that have destination dispatch, we either build direct integrations like what we do with Otis Compass. So we have a direct integration with the Otis Compass system to support all DD, same with Schindler, or sometimes we utilize a partner like Abraxos to integrate into other manufacturers. We're currently building out our integrations with TKE and Coney. Those should be done here by the end of the year. But regardless of what you have in place, we can support those elevator integrations. It's really important to be able to support that, as well as the turnstiles and other equipment that's in the base building. So we'll be able to support all your different equipment that's on site. And then, of course, we're going to support all the existing credentials. The last thing you want to do is when you change an access control system is tell all your tenants, you need to bring all your employees back to the building so we can give them new key cards. That's just not going to go over well. So we're going to support all the existing card formats, all the existing credentials. So when Security 101 comes and does an upgrade of our system, your tenants leave on a Friday. When they come in Monday, they won't know anything has changed because their same key card still works and it gets them right into the site, or a clicker or a fob, whatever you use in the building. But then what we do is we give you that ability to then roll out mobile credentialing. So we have native mobile credentialing built into our platform. So we're not using a third-party middleware or another company. We built these out of the box. And we wanted to make it very, very simple. So we have one-click provisioning, which is all done via API, allows us to pull a credential from the HID Origo platform right into Genea. We're supporting both iOS as well as Android. And we support Apple Wallet as a native feature as part of our system. In fact, we're actually the first access control manufacturer to make Apple Wallet commercially available. And so we can roll this out. So the next level is utilizing your phone, your watch to get into the facility. And the phone is a much more secure form of credentialing than a physical card. So dirty little industry secret is I can take your white, I can buy a reader writer on eBay. But your phone is it's an extension of yourself. You're never going to give your phone away to anybody else. But the credential is physically locked to your phone, and it's authenticated through your single sign-on from your organization. So the same way that you get into your Microsoft, your entire suite, we make that same secure connection so that your key on your device is a very, very secure form. So nobody can actually steal your key. Actually wouldn't be able to use my credential to enter the facility because it's locked to my devices. And then we make and then the other part of it is the cool factor. Utilizing your phone to come on site is just great. There's a couple different things you can do with it, and we'll show just a short video here once it loads up. A couple things you can do with this. You can utilize your watch or your device, and when you come on site, a couple different things. One is you can utilize your phone to tap to a reader, and it'll go ahead and unlock that reader just like you do a key card, and you can enter the facility. You can use your device to twist it, so going through a parking deck, instead of rolling down your window, you twist the device, and of course you can use your watch. So you can either tap the app, or you can touch your watch to open it when you get to a certain distance of the reader as well. Now that's from a tenant aspect of entering the facility. From an administrative aspect, as an admin, as a manager, you have the ability to remotely lock and unlock doors. You have the ability to add and remove users as well. And then a couple things I'll talk about before I get into the live demo is visitor management. So within Genea, we have a native visitor management solution that interacts with the access control product. As the property team, you get to offer this as an amenity to your tenants. Your tenants can go through, invite visitors to come on site. They go through a pre-registration process where they can go through a series of security questions, do document signing, and then we can also issue a temporary credential that interacts with the access control product. So that can either be in the form of a QR code or in the form of a barcode that can be logged right into their Apple Wallet, just like a credit card. So I can come on, go to a specific visitor turnstile, scan the QR code, it'll open the turnstile, go to the elevator bank, scan a QR code, and go to the elevator bank, or whatever security protocols you have. But it's kind of the next level of this, of visitor management, and it's fully integrated with the access control product as well. And then, of course, we talked about 24/7 support, and I'll show you in product. We have live chat that's available. So if your office managers or as an admin in the property management team, if you need software assistance, you can ask us questions. And of course, if something is broken downstream, a reader's broken, a controller's offline, that's when we're going to, of course, have the Security 101 team work with you to come on site to have a technician come and fix things. And of course, we're communicating back and forth with them to make sure that the hardware and the software are working together as they should. But that's part of our ongoing service. So we're the only access control software manufacturer that offers this to the end users to be able to communicate with us when you need help. And the beauty of what we do is, we look at us as kind of like the Salesforce of access control. So for those of you who are familiar with Salesforce, the beauty of it is a cloud-based solution that's all open API, and it integrates with everything else that's in the marketplace. We do the same thing. So regardless of your tenant services package, so if you're utilizing Swift Connect or Angus or Cohesion as your tenant engagement app, we have integrations with that to support credentialing. We work with multiple video management solutions, so regardless of what you have on site, you can even have multiple on site. We can support that. Of course, we're going to work with your different elevator manufacturers, multiple reader manufacturers. We work with other software applications like Slack and Microsoft Teams for alerting. And then, of course, on the credentialing side, we're supporting everything that's in the marketplace, whether it be NFC credentials, Apple Wallet credentials, Bluetooth, key cards, fobs, it doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and support it. So it's a wide range of variety in terms of what we do. So with that, that's the end of the PowerPoint. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the fun stuff. So give me 1 second here, and I'll get us into the platform. So now I'm in the platform. So I'm going to show you 2 different views of this. So the first view is really a property management view. So this is a base building access control system. So the first thing you're going to notice, and it's an entirely different look and feel than any other system that's out there. And that was done purposely. It's a very modern system. But when I come in, I start at my dashboard, and I'm going to start first with today's attendance. How many people are physically on site? We just need to know that. What are our busiest hours a day in terms of grants, meaning how many people are coming in? And then I can see our attendance bar. So by day, how many people are in site on any particular given day? Now, keep in mind what we're showing here is a bot, and it's populating data for us. But in a real instance, real life site, you'll be able to see exactly how many people have come in every single day. I can see what our busiest days are, and busiest doors, and I can see who the early users are who come in site. And then I can get a general heat map, so I can determine when are the busiest times of area. So I can do a couple things. One is I can staff it with our staff to make sure we're there to greet our tenants as they come in. If you're offering a coffee cart or a cafe or anything like that, you know when people are physically coming on site, so you're ready to greet them. So anything that you may need to do there is offered here in just the general dashboard. So the next part you'll see is our tenant tab. This is really important because we bifurcate all the tenant data, and we give you the ability to customize their access templates and levels based upon lease language. So for example, when I come into Acme Corporation, what you'll see here is we have our address, we have 125 users, meaning employees within the system. And then we have our access templates. So you'll notice building access groups, parking access, amenity schedules. When I come in to edit that, one of the biggest reasons we built this feature is on a regular basis, a very contentious point of property management and tenants is parking. Because oftentimes you need, one is the information on the cars, but you also allocate a certain amount of parking spots per tenant. And it's usually a billable event. So when we give tenants the ability to add their employees to the system, we want to make sure we limit how many parking spaces they get based upon what their lease says. So I have the ability to come in and say, parking, well, you've got 50 right now, we're using 11, but you're hiring more, and we're going to bump this up to 55 people. Because now you have the ability to assign up to 55 people parking. I can do the same thing for gym access. Any particular amenities within the site, you can limit how many people can come in. And then, of course, you can give them access to the different elevator groups and such. So we break this down by tenant, and it's all separated by tenant, which means I can report on this. So anything you see that I'm looking at here is also reportable. So I can report on any data here. The next thing we're going to go through is adding users to the system. And I know it seems like it's a basic thing, but this is massively important, is it has to be easy to add and remove users. So while we open up the integrations to give your tenants the ability to add users, we all know the real world is they're probably going to ask you to do it for them, or you're going to have certain tenants who will. So we make this easy for you. So if I need to add a new tenant or a new user to the system, it's a very simple process. I just hit new. All I need is a name, an email address if we want to adopt mobile credentialing. I can add department codes, employee numbers, cost centers, and then I go ahead and pick a building. I pick a role within that system. So I want to just add a user, and then I can pick which tenant they go to. So I'll pick our umbrella corporation here, and then I go ahead and sign them to an access group. So I'll just go say amenities access, and I can stack multiple access groups, and then an elevator. So just like that, I quickly added a user to the system. I've assigned them to a building, a role within the system, and the roles are fully customizable to a tenant, to their access group, and their elevator schedule. So the day one that they come into the building, everything is already set up. Once I have them in the system, then we want to give them a key. So let's take Aaron Ryan here. And when I assign somebody a key, once again, we wanted to make this very simple, regardless if you're giving a physical key card or if you're also giving a mobile credential, you want to make it simple. The other thing we also do is give you the ability to track custom attributes. So some buildings want to track license plate numbers, car make and model. This is fully customizable if they've signed a gym waiver or not. So you have the ability to come in and edit any of these particular attributes. So if I say, okay, well, yes, they signed the waiver, and yes, they're allowed to book a conference room because I got that information from the tenant as part of our onboarding package. I can also see the areas, the locations that they have access to. I have the ability to globally activate or suspend access. So if you find out from one of your office managers that a tenant has access to gyms at 3 different buildings, but for some reason they lost their key card or was stolen, I can come and activate or suspend them. So they're turned off. They're not deleted from the system. They're just turned off and can't go ahead and access the facility anymore until you give them either a new key card or you determine their access is go ahead and activate it again. And if I want to give a card, very simple. Hit new. And what you'll see is options for physical cards or mobile keys. So a lot of building teams have a stack of cards that they want to use that has the building format and card numbers. That's perfectly fine. Grab the next one out of the stack, put in the card number. You can select the card format, the facility codes, and then create a badge type. So you can customize all the different badge types that you have for the site and determine when it's going to be activated. Is it immediately or is it a future date, or and when does it expire? So oftentimes you have temporary visitors coming in, or you're doing construction for TI work. You may want to have a temporary credential for the construction team. So all you do is you turn this on, give them an expiration date of when the work is supposed to end. This way, if they leave the building and forget to bring the card back to you, it's deactivated and they can't get into the site when they shouldn't. If I want to give a mobile key, very simple, just hit mobile key. As long as I have that person's email address, I can determine that activation. Once I hit save, what will happen is we'll ping the HID database. We'll pull in that mobile credential, assign it to the user, and then that user receives an email from our system that's customized by you. Welcome to the site. Download the Genea app, and now you can utilize your mobile key to get into the facility. It's a very, very simple process. So you're not managing 2 separate databases. Everything is done right here from our platform. We'll go ahead and cancel that. So that's adding users, adding keys, both physical keys and mobile credentials. The next thing we're going to focus on is reporting. One of the biggest things that we get asked about, and this is a pain point for a lot of property managers, is we really need to be able to report on by tenant who's physically on site at any time. So the beauty of our system is our default is to keep all history forever. So anytime you come into the activity log, I can come and I can filter by anything I need. So if I want to see anybody who's been granted access or denied access, I can pick by tenant. So we keep hearing that some people from Umbrella Corporation keep getting denied access to the system. Well, I want to know who is denied access to the system, which doors, and even why. So it'll tell you, here's all the users, here's the access group, what the event was, and which tenant. And then I can go ahead and I can take this and I can export this into a CSV file. I can go in and share that with our friends here at Security 101, say, hey, we've got this tenant, they keep getting denied from this particular reader or this turnstile. Can you help us look at the equipment to determine what's wrong? Or I can send it to the tenant and say, hey, you've got all these people who should be in the system and they're trying to access it and we're not letting them in because they're not on the schedule. Do we need to change anything? So it really gives you some really flexible reporting options as well. We have an out-of-the-box arrival report too. That's one of the things we get asked about is, I just need a general arrival report. So I can just pick my date frame. I can select an access group or a tenant. So if I need to send something to the tenants, office managers, or to my asset management group on a particular tenant who's coming into the site, I can quickly run this. It comes as a CSV and I can email that to them. Also in our automated reporting system, I can even set that up to be scheduled. So every Friday, an email is sent out to our asset managers or to the tenants on who's attending the site. One of the things that property managers are struggling with is just general occupancy on the building. So you want to know who's on site, when are they on site. This allows you to analyze which tenants are coming to site, maybe due for renewal, which ones are at risk for renewal because they don't have any people on site, and how to engage with them. So having this clear visibility across the portfolio is incredibly powerful. So beyond reporting, we also want to make alerting as well. We want to make sure, this is a security system after all, that you're notified when things go offline. So we'll notify you as well as your techs from Security 101 when the controllers go offline, the batteries fail, power supply fails. We can do this in a couple different formats. We can either do this like here as email alerts. We can also do this via integrations. Our integrations is one of the things that really separates us from everybody else. So whether that be that you utilize Teams or Slack or WebEx Teams, we can actually send alerts to those particular communication channels, allowing you to get real-time events in ways that you currently communicate. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. The other part of this is our control center. So it's a very powerful tool as property managers are managing multiple sites. Sometimes you need to be able to open a door from somebody when you're not on site because you have deliveries come in or somebody's coming for a visit or you're showing space. We give you essentially the remote control from the building. So I can do this here from the platform, or I can do it from my app as an administrator. I have the ability to come in and remotely lock or unlock any particular door. I can also do what we call a quick grant, where I unlock a door for 5 seconds. So I'm going to let somebody in, I hit quick grant, and it locks the door for 5 seconds, and then closes behind. But we really give this flexibility to remotely manage physical security from anywhere. Now we have an office in Ahmedabad, India, a development office. So right now, because of my access, I could actually unlock a door there if I need to let somebody in. So this is the beauty of cloud. It allows you to scale across the entire country if you have multiple sites. We also have the ability to customize emergency plans. So we added this because we have a lot of customers, especially we have some hospital customers that need to be able to have specific events and push people through. Obviously, in commercial real estate, you need to plan for active shooter drills, fire drills, etc. So you have the ability to come in and fully customize an emergency plan. So whether it be a fire drill or whatever it is, you determine which doors and what the action is of those doors and what the physical trigger is. So if you're trying to push people through a certain area, you need to open certain doors, you can actually customize that and set that up. So for that event that happens, it's fully matches up to your plan. And it's, once again, it's fully customizable to whatever the rules are of your building. And as we know, every building is a little bit different. And the way the buildings operate, so we wanted to give a lot of flexibility to match up to the security needs of your site. In the access control tab, this is just where you set up your schedules. So you set up your access groups, your schedules, your holidays, and your card formats. One of the great things that we do as part of an implementation process, if we're migrating you from another access control system to Genea, we're going to go ahead and take that entire database of all your access groups, your door schedules, everything that you have, and we're going to load it into the system so that the day that Security 101 comes on site to go ahead and connect the panels, everything is already ready to go. So we're going to clean it up. We're going to have all your users in and everybody within the system, and it's very simple to manage. So it's a very, very easy process to get through. But if you need to change anything, you can come and do that at any time. So if you have new schedules or new tenants that have certain requirements for access groups, you can come and update this at any time. And I'm going to show about 3 or 4 more things here. So the next part is on the hardware tab. The hardware tab gives you a topographical view of all the equipment that controls the doors. And this really comes into play really when something is wrong. So say there's a reader that's offline or it's not on schedule or something's broken. You have the ability to see specifically which panel is that connected to that supports the reader. So this way, when the security team comes on site to do any repairs, they can look, okay, the second floor reception reader is offline. It's connected to this particular panel, which connects to this, this master controller. And they can come in, see what the notes are, see what the issues are, and go ahead and make any changes to that. So that makes servicing you a much easier process. So they know exactly where to go. Instead of trying to navigate the whole building to figure out which reader is offline and what's it connected to, we want to make it very simple for our integrator partners to get on site. So those are kind of the basics of the access control system. I'm going to shift now to visitor management, show you how the visitor management solution works. And then I'm going to show you a couple of live things, such as our integrations with video and directory services. So next, we're going to talk about visitor management. So like I mentioned before, we have a native visitor management solution that is into the access control product. It's fully customizable based upon the visitors and any of the rules of the building. So I can come in, I can invite a visitor, I can do a couple different things. I can either invite a single visitor or I can do a group invite. So if I have to, we've got a tenant who's having an event and they can give you a list in Excel of all the people who are coming in. I can go ahead and create a group invite for that particular tenant. I just put in when are they coming in, their type, their email address, and when are they visiting, and go ahead and send all those visitors a pre-registration form where they can go through and go ahead and get set up within the access control system. I can do fully customizable visitors, and I can create rules for my visitors. So we can require that there's specific check-in fields, such as I have to put in a name, an email address, which tenant I'm obviously visiting, who my host is, what floor. And then I can even do advanced questions. So have specific rules, and some of this could be related to COVID protocols or just general rules about navigating the building, especially if you're doing construction like a lobby renovation. You may want to say, hey, this is what's happening in the building. Are you comfortable with going this way? And you can set up multiple questions and have multi-select rules for that. So if this happens, then this is the action, or this is how you get entered into the system. So once again, fully customizable. You can require that every visitor who comes on site has to upload a photo of themselves. So they can either do that when they get on site, or as a pre-registration, they take a selfie on their phone and uploads it. And you can even have document signing. So if you have an NDA or a liability waiver, because once again, if there's construction happening on the site, you may want to make sure that you've got a waiver in place before anybody visitor comes on site. They can go ahead and sign that process. So document as well, and it'll be saved here. It'll also be emailed to the visitor. And then you can print out badges. So we'll work with any badge printer that you have. So if you want somebody to come out, so when they get on site, they've got a nice sticker they can put on their shirt. You can take all the different fields that we customize within the visitor management solution, populate them on the badge as well as a barcode. So if you're going through a turnstile supports barcode reads, once again, that barcode will be activated so that it works with the access control system and unlocks the turnstile for you. But everything is built right here in the system and is very simple to navigate. We also have some deeper security features, such as a watch list and a block list. This is obviously important as you have certain visitors who maybe you don't want to have on site or you may want to be aware of. So you can come in, see who's the block list. You can add a user, a person who should be blocked. And it's very simple to do. Just pick a person, pick their name. Their method is match all the fields, and reason why is aggressive salesperson. So you get those people who walk through the buildings and they drive everybody nuts. You have the ability to go ahead and block them so nobody can invite them on site. And you can also restrict who's allowed to invite people, such as the cleaners. You may not have the cleaners inviting people on site. But really, we're going to take into account everything that you need to do in terms of visitor management. We deploy this here. And like I said before, it's going to interact with the access control product. Gives us a very simple ability to pick what is our QR code, which doors are we going to have it integrate with, and then we have the ability to do walk-ups. So if I come on site, I can put a QR code sticker at the reception desk. We can have visitors scan that just like you do a menu at a restaurant, and they can go ahead and go through that registration process on site. So high level of what the access control system does. It's how it's bifurcated by tenant data. I'm going to show a couple more things in terms of the integrations, and then we'll open it up for questions. So I'm now switching over to a different platform. What I want to show you is actually the live Genea instance of our system. So one of the things that is unique here is we have the ability to do a global overview and a global dashboard. So as you have multiple buildings come on site, we can open up a global view of this where you can see all of your sites. You can see how many people do you have in each building and your general health status of all the equipment across the entire portfolio. We also give you the ability to assign users to multiple sites at one time. So if I've got a user who needs to come in, I've got, our philosophy is there's a shared gym across 5 different buildings. I just add my name, my user, just like we did before. I give them access, and then I add multiple locations. So just like this, I can add one user who gets access to multiple sites very quickly. So this is how you start to leverage the power of the cloud, of being on the cloud, is having people across multiple locations at the same time. You can add their key card from here. So it's very, very simple to do. You also have a global control center. So we showed you it as an individual building, but at the global control center, I can see all my doors for all my sites. So regardless, like I said, we've got multiple offices. So from here, I can see our Irvine headquarters, I can see our Michigan office, and I can manage our Ahmedabad, India office. So as a global security officer, property manager, you can see all of your sites at one time. And then the next thing we also offer is the ability to full emergency plans across the entire portfolio. We also, a new feature that we just launched is the ability to show floor plans. So we can have integrated floor plans within the platform that allows you to manage and see a different view of where your equipment is physically installed. So whether that's a camera or a reader, I can come and I can see our equipment here. If I click on this reader here, it's going to open it up. So from this viewpoint, if I need to unlock a door or do a quick print, I can do that as well. If it's integrated with the camera, I can click on the camera. It'll show our camera view of this. But everything is all here within the floor plan. So you can put where your equipment is. And one of the future states of this will be door sensors and different alarms. You can actually layer them all onto your to the floor plans as well. We talked about reporting a little bit earlier, but I'm just going to show you our automated reporting system. So within the reports, I have the ability to customize anything that is reported on in the system, and I can even set up a schedule for this. So if I have an automated arrival report, and I want to know people who are arriving on a similar daily basis, I can see everybody who's come in. I set up my rules. I want to know anybody who was on site yesterday or last week or by tenant. I can do that as well. And then I can schedule this so that it's delivered when I need it to be delivered. I put in an email address and when do I want this delivered? So if every Friday you have to give a report to your asset managers of this particular tenant who's come on site or to the tenant themselves, just put in the email address and it'll send them a report automatically on a weekly basis. So it fully takes you out of the middle of having to do this and having to run reports out of the system. The beauty of our system is it's very simple to navigate. We wanted to make this easy. And then one of the last things I want to show is just our integrations. Some of the power of our system is opening up integrations to not only you as the property team, but also to your tenants. So we already showed you how easy it is for your tenants to add and remove their own users from the system manually. Now we give them the ability to also integrate with other software applications. So if you have a very large law firm, for instance, that utilizes Active Directory or Azure AD or Okta as their directory solution for all their other software applications, they can also incorporate that to and add their employees to the base building. And we make this very simple to manage. All they're going to do is they're going to take their Azure key token, which they're very accustomed to doing, and they set up rules for their organization. So I can come in and create a new rule. So I can say, and I'm just going to call this demo, I can add multiple conditions. So based upon my groups, I can use groups, I can use city, state, address, departments, but I can pick a group, and these groups are already being leveraged in their directory service. So we'll just call this HR and technology, and I can stack multiple conditions. So I can say if you're an HR technology and your job title is a manager, then I'm going to go ahead and add you to a specific access group. Oops. And I'm going to give you a role in the system, and we'll just call you a user. And then I'm going to give you a Apple Wallet key or multiple credentials. So from the day that an employee is hired, they're automatically added to the base building access control system. They're automatically added to a user group assigned a role. And as soon as they're hired on, they have a mobile credential waiting for them in their inbox. So it fully automates that process. Now, the reverse also happens. If an employee is terminated from your tenant, they are automatically removed from the base building access control system. So this gets us away from that scenario like I talked about earlier, where you've got 4,500 active users, but only 1,200 people work there. This is going to allow you to keep that database clean. It also helps you with your anchor tenants really automate a lot of processes. So this is a great amenity to offer to them to say, hey, when you come to our building, we're going to make it really easy for you to get your employees into the base building, add them to a specific access group, to elevators, to the parking deck, whatever you need. It's all really simple and it's fully automated from beginning to end. So it's a very, very powerful feature, which of course we're happy to show you in more detail as we go through the process. And we'll look at some of our integrations. We support single sign-on. We support multiple mobile credentialing. So whether you're using Apple Wallet or STID or Wavelinks, we support communication tools like Slack and Microsoft Teams as a way to do alerting. So if I come into Teams, for instance, that's what we use here at Genea. I can come in and determine what the triggers are for notifications. And this goes to a specific Microsoft Teams channel. So if there's a card event denied or a controller goes down, we can send a specific alert to the Teams channel that is being monitored by the security team. And then of course we integrate with video management solutions. So whether you're using Meraki, Hercules, Rhombus, ExactVision, we support them all, and you can support multiple VMSs at the same time. And what that allows you to do is to sync up the instance of a card swipe and video. We also make it very, very simple to create the integration. So I'm going to take Arcules, for instance, one of our newest integrations. All I need is my account details, my username and password. I pick my camera offsets, and I'm going to go ahead and pick which location, and then I assign doors to cameras. It takes a matter of minutes. It's very simple to do, but it's incredibly powerful. And let me show you now how that works. So what I'm going to do now is show you the instance of a person swiping in and that event on video. So I'm going to come into our Irvine HQ, and I'm going to go to our activity log, and then we're going to actually see somebody when somebody swipes into the front lobby and walking through a door. So I come to activity, and this is going to once again show me the activity for the last few days, and I can see Jimmy came in today. He came in through our front door. When I click front door, it's going to pull up a video stream right here in the platform. Yeah, this will give it a second. And what it's done is it's timestamped that event in the VMS player. And now there's Jimmy walking through the door. So once again, I no longer have to search through hours of video to find that person. It's already bookmarked within the activity log in the access control system. And all I'm doing is I'm clicking that link to see that. The other use case for our video player is in the control center. In the control center, we also give you a camera wall. So I can see, in a second here, I'll do front door, kitchen. And what it will do is actually show me a live feed of all the different views. So I actually see a live camera. And I have the ability to see people walking in from a live view. But even more importantly here is if, say, there's a delivery and I come back to my door and I want to show a grant and I want to let somebody in the door. So say we have somebody, a delivery at the lobby. I can click lobby, the front door video. It's going to pull up a live stream. So you'll notice the red button on the top left shows live. And I need to let somebody in for a delivery. So while this loads up, there's the live. And on the bottom right here, you see the little doors. I can go ahead and unlock that. I can do a quick grant. So what it did is just unlock that door for 5 seconds. And I could see somebody who walks in that door and see a delivery. So once again, this goes to security. And the beauty of this is it's all tracked, documented in our activity log. It's also documented in Microsoft Teams, which we use for all of our alerting. So we'll see this reload here, and we'll see that there's a system unlocked by an administrator, me, and we know exactly what happened. When I go into our audit logs, we can see all the history of anything that's been changed, but we know that specifically it was Robert Vale who did a quick grant to unlock the lobby. And the last part of that is also sent to a Microsoft Teams channel. So here's our Teams channel for our notifications in Irvine. You'll see there's a remote quick grant by Robert Vale. So once again, if our security team is monitoring this, they know exactly what this is, and they're alerted immediately when an event like this happens. And the last part of everything that we've shown you is this is all supported 24/7 by Genea technicians. So at any time, if you need help, we have a little chat icon here in the bottom right. I can open and I can communicate with a member of Genea team. This is monitored 24/7, where I can ask questions. I can have a massive knowledge base and get any help that I need at any time. So our goal here is to make the system very easy to implement and more importantly, easy to use. So from user provisioning, user deprovisioning, and just general maintenance of the system and how do you navigate through it, we want to make this very, very simple. We know you're busy. So this shouldn't be a burdensome process for you. And more importantly, we're also here to help along with our partners here at Security 101. So with that, Charlie, I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing, and we can take a look if there's any questions or Q&A that we want to do.
Making sure I had this correct. I'm getting my camera back on. Excuse me just one second. There we go. I'm using a Mac today, and it's throwing me off a little bit on the screen. Robert, thank you so much for that presentation. I really appreciate you taking the time to drill into your software. I scrolled through the questions, and I did not see any submitted just yet. To the group, if you have any questions, you can submit them now. I had a couple things that came up with me. I'll ask you because there are things that I might have missed. I want to make sure that we're covered. If I missed them, someone else might have. On the one thing that was extremely interesting to me is the ability to use your Apple Watch or your Apple Wallet for credentials. Could you walk me through the process if a tenant comes to a property owner, a property management, and says, hey, I'd like to have my employees want to use Apple Watches or Apple Wallet, what is the process that they have to go through to get that set up in their system?
Sure. So it's actually a relatively, well, I'd like to say it's easy, but there's a process to this. So the way it works is as soon as we enable the building to support wallet, that allows them to assign mobile credentials and wallet credentials to all the tenants in the building. So as part of the software subscription package, we can say, okay, you've got Genea base access control, also Apple Wallet. We can make sure that all the readers are enabled, and we'll work with you and your team on the technicians to make sure the readers are enabled. Any new reader that's been sent out in the marketplace is already enabled to support wallet. And then when somebody comes to the user, when they get an email notification from us, when they download our app, there's a button that says add to wallet. So from a tenant perspective, you don't have to do much except for download our app, assign an email address, and go ahead and add to wallet. From a building perspective, you just need to have the building enabled to support that. And that's just a combination of working with Security 101, Genea, and HID to make sure that the building is fully enabled. But we'll go ahead and turn everything on the end with all of our APIs. And there's an agreement that we also sign with the building team as well as Apple to make sure that Apple understands what's happening. But after that, the process is very, very simple to get it done. But there are some technical parts that we can work through, but we mostly work through the technicians on your team.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. We have another question come in from Shane. I believe that's Genea. I apologize, Shane, if I pronounced your name incorrectly. But Shane would like to know, can you set up notifications for when a certain door is used or when a certain user badge is in? So flag that person to give you a notification.
The answer is yes. Yes, you can in our automated reporting system. So you can do it by door. You can also run reports by door, so you're notified by specific areas that come in. And we can send out a report to you as well that you identify by specific users too.
Okay. Another question I had was one of the features that I like particularly as an integrator partner is the ability to have the chat for help directly for programming type of assistance. When the chat is manned, is that a 24/7, 365 situation? Genea has staff to support?
Yes. It is 24/7, 365. We have customers in, I think, 28 countries right now. We've got about 1 million users on the platform. So, but that is staffed by Genea employees. We also have a massive knowledge database. We document everything within the system. So if you go to help.getgenea.com, you can see all of our knowledge base, but that is available to all other people as well.
All right. I have another good question. This is from one of our engineers. Can you subscribe to a law enforcement watch list for visitor management on your visitor management?
Not yet. That is in the roadmap. We've had that question, especially as you look at like K through 12, right? Schools, things like that. We know it's going to be built. We just don't have it yet. I'd expect it sometime next year. And as part of this follow-up, I'll get with the product team and get some timelines for that. But we do know it's needed. We just don't have it today.
Okay. Another question. Are you able to integrate into gated access control? Did you catch that one, Robert? It looks like we might be locked up for some reason. Robert, are you still with us? Looks like Robert's having some technical difficulties. Once again, I want to thank everybody that took time out of their day to join this webinar for us. This is the first one of many that we plan on doing for our company. And what I would like to do now is share my screen. Let's see if this pops up correctly. I'm going to lead you with this. This is Security 101's website. If you have any questions or you would like a follow-up as a result of this webinar, you can go to our website, security101.com. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the first page, you'll see the different verticals we cover, a little bit of a profile of our company. But you can click on this button right here. Let us help you. Fill in your information here, and we'll reach out to you to answer any other questions and set up any follow-up appointments that you would like. Also, if you know your reps, you can reach out to them directly as well. Be on the lookout, as I said at the beginning of this call, that we will be doing an email to release the winner of the Arctic Cooler within the next week. And we will also be sending out surveys to everybody to take a chance to read through the surveys, give us some feedback on this webinar. And the big one here is to give us any insight or any topics that you would like us to discover or to discuss in future webinars. It could be a particular security topic, a particular security solution, anything that you're interested in that you would like us to bring to these webinars, let us know. And with that, I would let everyone go about the rest of their day. Once again, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.